You're going to inspire some people. You inspire me. The day she buys an asset, there's a gap in there of equity. You know what you're capable of, and you did more homework and was more prepared and then took the risk, and she got rewarded for it. Going on a wealth journey is just like that. Going, this is what I'm going to do with my money. This is what I'm going to look for. You're going to inspire some people. You inspire me. So it's like I want to share that with them because how hard you work and just your story. So I would like you to tell everyone just your story. Where'd you grow up?
Well, I born in Mexico. I came here about 11 years now. I was in the school in Mexico, and I never thought to come over here. My dad was like going back and forth. He was a resident here, and he spent 6 months in here and 6 months in Mexico. Um, so he applied to get a visa or a resident card for us. So that took about 10 years. When it finally came, I was in the university, so I thought like, oh, I'm not gonna go there. But then my parents came and visit, or my mom came and visit with my brother and sisters, and they decided to stay. So I was the only one in Mexico for like 2 years. And I was like, I have like 2 more years in the university, and I thought like, no, I'm just gonna stay here. I just go and visit, but they told me you have to come because you have to be here to sign the papers for the resident card. So I had to come and say like, well, I'm just going to sign, come back. No, I have to stay there 6 months. So I was doing that in the process, going back and forth, and my vacation come here and go back over there.
How old were you when you first came to the U.S.?
I was 19.
19. And how was your English?
Not good. And still not good, but I still got a lot of people laughing at how I pronounce the stuff.
Sure. Okay, so you were 19. You came here.
Yeah.
You got going back and forth. You went to school. You became an attorney.
Yes.
So she's an attorney in Mexico,
Hmm.
right? Okay, keep going.
Um, well, I came here. I have to stay, and my sister got really sick, so my parents have to stay both here for about a year. And then they told me, well, either just come over here for a year, and then you can come back and stay, come back to Mexico. Just see how it is here. So I stay here. I met my husband, and I stay. So
And you are trapped forever.
and I'm trapped forever.
Yes.
Actually, our plan was to go to Europe and live it there, but didn't happen. We changed our mind at the last minute. Family was like really important, so it was like hard to leave them. So we stay here. So then I started working at a cheese factory, and I was crying every single day. And I was telling my husband, if I don't find another job, I told him by September, I'm just gonna make them like fire me because I don't want to work there anymore. And not because it was a bad place. It was
How old were you now when you were working at the cheese factory?
21.
21. Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't a bad place. It's just that I feel so bad that my parents was spending so much money on me being in school, and I was like working in a cheese factory. And like I said, it's not a bad job. It's not what I was looking for. So then I applied a lot of jobs, and nobody hired me. So then I applied to the schools, and I was hired in there, and I was hired at another real estate company at the same time. So I was working for about 4 years, doing both jobs. Then I become a teacher, and then I have a baby, and I decided that one job was more than enough.
When was
So,
it? When did you? So you were teaching full time.
mhm.
That was actually when we met. I think you were teaching
Yes.
full time and you were selling.
Yeah, he told me I can meet after 4. I'm like, I'm not at 4 at the school, so you have to wait for me.
Yeah, like because I was protecting my time with my family, and Maria's like, "Hey, or I was like, hey, you should come over to Keller Williams," and Maria's like, "Great, I'll meet with you after 4." I'm like, I'm going to see my family. Like, I don't care how big of a company I want to build. Like, I'm going to see my family. And you're like, I have no other times to meet. Like, I'm in school all the other times.
Yeah.
But that was 2015, 16? No, 14.
14. Yeah. 14.
Okay, and how many houses were you selling?
Like 30?
Yeah, it was
13?
between 30 and 40.
Yeah.
So full-time teacher selling 30 to 40 houses in the after hours of, it's literally after school.
Well, actually, in my lunches too. So
Oh,
during
yeah,
my
you do
lunch,
showings.
I go and show a house or 2 houses, and then come back to school and like eat in the car. And then when I come back, I go to the parking. Like I remember sometimes just like park and run because the buses were there with the new kids, and I'm like, oh, I have to get there. So because I was teaching 4K.
So you're selling 30 to 40 houses, working full time. You come over to Keller Williams. You came on my team right away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started selling together right away. When did you? Well, let's keep going. So let's fast forward. When did you leave teaching full time?
2015, right after like I think right after I start the company. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty close after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then production wise, what is your production grown to today?
I have sold about 85 houses last year.
Yep.
How
many people are on your team?
I don't have a team yet.
How many admins do you have working for you?
I don't have any admin yet.
Let me just summarize. Born in Mexico, English stinks, selling 85 houses a year.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
In between selling 30 houses to 85 houses, you and I were coaching back and forth, and you crossed that millionaire threshold.
Yes.
Right? So how did you do that?
Well, I think a lot of what I did, it was because he was coaching me. You were coaching me since the beginning. And I started making goals. When he told me what are your goals? I'm like, what are you talking about? I just want to sell. I don't have goals. So, and then everybody started talking about goals. I'm like, why everybody's talking about goals in here? I'm like, I never saw that before. So then I started seeing the things different, and everything I did started changing when I did my first ball. Like they were talking about the stuff that I wasn't used to. I started listening to books, what I never did before, but now I started doing it at that time. So I started like learning a lot from that, and I was like you were coaching me like it was like two times a month, I think, something like that. I started investing on properties too, and flips and buying rentals. Pretty much like on saving money.
And actually, before you even really decided you were going to go on a wealth building journey, you just worked hard and saved a lot of money. You're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just working hard and saving a lot of money. And she would have that commission check drawer. And then we said, okay, now we've accumulated some cash, right? Where's the highest and best use you can go place it? Like, where could you invest it? What could you do? And where did you choose to invest it?
Real estate.
Real estate, right? Big shocker, right? There's only like 3 or 4 things we can invest in as we leave here to build wealth. And she worked hard, kept her expenses low. Tell me about the car you drive.
It's a Hyundai, and I bought it because my husband made me buy it.
Yes.
And I was so mad with him for about a month. So that was like 7 years ago. I still have the same Hyundai because I feel like if I get a new car, I'm going to get another debt, and I really don't need it.
When you guys made your first investment, how did that feel? Like, tell me about your first property you bought, and how did that feel when you bought your first property?
Investment property, it was like a little bit scared.
You were scared?
Yeah, because nobody else wanted, and I thought like, it was a good property. So, and actually, we pay at that time like $133 for the property, and right now it's about $300.
That's what it's worth today.
What it's worth today.
So she bought a couple rentals and a couple flips.
Yeah, the first flip, it was a little bit scary because it was a disaster, and nobody else paid for that one. I'm like, what's wrong with it? Like what she was saying, like you think like
Nobody else
something
is
wrong.
buying for it. Yeah.
Actually, I remember one flip that his team didn't want it, and I thought like, why they don't want it? Like there's something wrong. So I went and bought it, and actually that one right now it can sell for $200, and I paid like $120, I think at that time. So, but I it was scary because nobody else wanted. They didn't want it, so that was an issue.
You guys see that? I passed on something, didn't fit our criteria, or whatever it was, and she did really well on it.
Well,
happens more than you think, right?
Yeah.
How many times do we see that? Like Michelle's going to do great on that flip. I'm sure that she bought that nobody else at auction bought. Happens all the time because what happened was she did more homework than my team did. And she acted in spite of her fear, and our team ran the other way, or I ran the other way with it. right? She looked at it logically and said, it seems like a really good property. Why is nobody else buying this? Why is Caleb's team not buying this? There's got to be something wrong with it. When in reality, you probably just reacted with more logic than we did, and you did more homework and was more prepared, and then took the risk, and she got rewarded for it. You're still getting rewarded for it because you get a beautiful thing called rent, which counts as an inflow each month, and over half paid off.
Yeah.
Right?
When I had my dad, he helped me a lot with that stuff.
He did a lot
they
of
have to
fixing
pay. I just have to pay my dad, so it's
He helps you
it's
with a lot of
cheaper.
the renovations and
Right.
managing the jobs and
Yeah.
different things like that. So tell me about your real estate portfolio today. How many rentals?
I have 11 doors.
Sure.
I'm getting about 10,000 on rent a month. Because of all my rentals, I try to buy it like in a lower price, that it's like I try to get the profit at the beginning. Like I bought a duplex for 120, and it's some work, but it's worth it like 180, 190, and I'm getting rent like 900 for each side. So I try to like since the beginning try to get some money
Sure.
on those properties.
So you try to make sure when you buy something, it's a good deal up front.
Right, like
Is
if
that-
it's gonna sell something happen, I'm gonna get my money back.
So you buy it today for 100, but it's really worth maybe 120.
Right.
Does that make sense? Everybody following that? The day she buys an asset, there's a gap in there of equity. Like that's like crucial with building wealth. She doesn't ever want to buy anything that she pays 120 for it, that's worth 120. She wants to be able to sell it on day one that she buys it and get that instant equity. That's why you guys can all leave here tomorrow and make $40,000. You just got to buy a $140,000 house for $100,000. And before your mind thinks it's not possible, we do it every day, right?
Yeah.
So that's great. The other thing too I noticed is when we did the the personal financial statement, you went like this. You went, whoosh, and then you went. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You took yours out of your pocket. You already had yours. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She already had her financial statement already. It's all worked up. It's all there, right? It's the stuff that we're talking about. Like these people, Michelle had hers open. Maria had hers in her pocket, right?
And I feel like one thing that we talked before is like when you when you are looking for something. I remember like I don't know if it was a flip or it was a duplex, and I was still on the team, and I didn't. Oh, it was a flip. I didn't know how I was gonna pay for that. I just put the offer. I didn't have any money. I thought like, what I'm gonna do? I don't have money, but he told me that I can do it. That I just have to put the offer, and then somebody else will help me. So
what ended up happening? I don't remember this one.
I get a loan with what was the name? The bank that disappeared, but
Oh yeah. Choice Bank or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I
she
didn't
went
have
and bought
any
something.
money.
She didn't have any money. She didn't have the money allocated in your cash. She knew it was a really good deal. I have a saying that money always follows the deal. Just get the property under contract. You got it under contract. Then you're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And then as long as it's a really good deal, the money will always show up. And that's exactly what happened. But going on a wealth journey is just like that. Going, this is what I'm going to do with my money. This is what I'm going to look for. I don't have the money for. You were very wise still. You still had equity in other properties. It wasn't like you were stretched thin or putting money on credit cards or anything like that. But you made a really wise decision. You said, I'm going to commit to buying this deal. And you did. And it worked out just fine for you.
Actually, it's weird because I think when you say like I'm gonna do it, you will find a way to do it. And one time, I was offered a deal, and going a partner, and I needed 350, 350, and it was like, well, you're gonna get do you have the money? And I said, yes, I didn't have the money. By the way, this.
That was a deal we partnered on.
Yeah, we partnered on that deal, and I said, yes, I can get the money. And
so Maria's, anytime that I say, hey Maria, I've got a deal, like let's talk about it, and I'll say, how much money do you have? And her exact answer, this is very, very interesting, you guys. Her exact answer every time is, how much do I need? So what is that, like when somebody answers that, like what does that say about her mindset? She's saying that if I believe in the deal, I'll make whatever I need for the deal happen. Like that's her mindset. Whereas typically they'll be like, oh, I've got $50,000 to invest, or I got $10,000 to invest. And I go to her and I say, hey, how much money do you? How much cash are you sitting on right now? She says, how much do I need? I think that's important, and I hope you guys take that away because that's worked out pretty good. That's a good deal that we still have. So, You guys, can you give her a big round of applause? So I hope you guys got some stuff out of it. So.